more than 4 million rear-end crashes every year in this country. More than 1,000 people died, nearly 150,000 injured. Property damage in the billions year after year. And the government says this little red light could cut those losses by half. It's wired directly into the brake lights and centered, forming a triangle of light that warns the drivers behind you that you're not just switching on your headlights or signaling for a turn, you are stopping. The Department of Transportation tested these lights on 1,000 Washington, D.C. taxi cabs. Rear-end collisions were cut by 54%. The telephone company tried the crash lights on its fleet and cut such accidents by 53%. The same in New York City. Cabs with a third stoplight had 51% fewer rear-enders. The same test showed when there was such an accident, the cost of repairs was also cut by half. The government figures if every car in America had one of these brake lights, the cost of car repairs would be cut by more than $400 million a year. Now that's a lot of money. The National Highway Transportation Safety Administration first recommended adding the third brake light as standard safety equipment back in 1980, but nothing ever came of it. The auto industry was having trouble back at that time, and no one wanted to hang another costly option on them that year. The government will require third brake lights in 1986, but you can buy them now retail at auto stores for about $20 and install them yourself perhaps. Cheap insurance compared to the price of auto repair. I'm Brad Edwards in your corner. It might seem like a money-saving idea to burn leftover wood in your fireplace rather than going out and buying firewood. But the Environmental Protection Agency says, watch out. Leftover wood from a fence, wood from a construction yard, old garden lumber, all can be hazardous to your health because all those woods are treated with chemicals that can release poisonous gases like arsenic, lead, or chromium when they're burned. The EPA says the chemicals released could be cancer-causing, and chimney sweeps even say they see plenty of evidence that people are burning treated wood.
The thing about burning any kind of treated material, you burn it and you are contaminating your home, you're contaminating your family, your furniture. It can be very extensive.
Well, the EPA and chimney sweep Shirley Whitmire suggest you burn hardwoods only. Burn no wood that leaves a green or red ash, and burn nothing that has colored ink like the Sunday Funny papers. Do not burn wrapping paper, cellophane, or plastic. All emit dangerous gases. Maybe you can't do anything about contamination of outside air, but by burning only untreated wood, you can protect your inside air, the air in your home. I'm Brad Edwards in your corner. When you go to the mailbox these days, you find many requests for contributions by mail, many for legitimate causes. And with the end of the year approaching, many people are looking to make a nice tax-deductible contribution. But you want your money to go somewhere it will do some good. That's why you have to be careful when you make contributions by mail. This solicitation for money's been coming into Oklahoma City mailboxes recently. An organization called the American Institute for Cancer Research in Washington, D.C. It asks women to fill out a survey on diet and breast cancer. Then they ask for a contribution to help them finance research. Well, the name of the group was unfamiliar, but could easily be confused with the American Cancer Society. So we asked the Cancer Society about the American Institute for Cancer Research.
All we really know is what they have said, and they say they have projects that range from $200,000 to $15,000, and I would think there would be an awful lot more $200 ones than otherwise. But again, they have not revealed exactly the list of people getting the contributions.
So little is known about the American Institute for Cancer Research, but it's being investigated by Better Business Bureaus and postal inspectors. The city of Los Angeles ordered the institute already to halt seeking donations in that city. The state of Maine ordered them to refund donations there, all because of misleading statements in the institute's letters. So before you mail a donation to an unknown organization, check with a Better Business Bureau, the local postal inspector, or another well-known organization. That way you can be sure your donation is not going to be wasted. I'm Brad Edwards in your corner. tells me she and her husband bought a house 5 years ago. 3 months after the purchase, her husband left. Since then, she's been a single head of the household, raising 2 teenagers. She had to get a job for the first time in many years, which barely covers expenses. As a matter of fact, when her husband doesn't make his child support payments, Carol gets behind in her house payments. It happened last year and now has happened again. Last year, the mortgage company let her make up the payments when her tax refund came in. This year, it's a different story, and Carol is worried.
I don't really know what my option is at this point. They just told me they were going to foreclose on me by Friday if I didn't have the 4 payments in, and I just have 2.
Does the mortgage company have to allow her to make up payments again, since they did it once before? I checked with the State Department of Consumer Credit, an educational agency on lending practices.
Well, there have been some court cases which have upheld that if that has been established as a pattern by the mortgage company, that they must continue to allow that individual to pay in that particular manner. However, there have been other cases, consumer-related, consumer installment contracts, which have simply gone the other direction.
McClure says it could be expensive and risky to fight foreclosure in court. He suggests visiting the mortgage company in person to see what can be worked out. He emphasized mortgage companies can foreclose after 1 late payment if they want to, and depending on child support payments from a spouse in another state is not dependable and hard to enforce. If you're in that position, visit an agency that will help you set up a safe budget. Some women's groups help with that. Then stick to the budget, because after you get behind, it could be too late. I'm Brad Edwards, in your corner. From the backs of magazines to the slick brochures of fashionable salons, the claims make weight loss seem like a game. New Contour says you can lose with no work. Other health clubs claim you can jiggle your fat away. The Food and Drug Administration says don't believe it.
We haven't seen any evidence that devices that say you don't have to do any work are going to help you lose weight.
The FDA has seen thousands of machines like the Electro Body Shaper. It advertises, do 10,000 sit-ups while you relax. Just strap on the pads, flip the switch, and your muscles will be electronically exercised. The cost, $20.95. But the FDA says forget it, these things just don't work. And then there are the full-size machines found in the fancy salons and the weight loss centers. Operators of this type of machine claim it will tone and shape your body, but it can be expensive. One session wired to the electronic muscle stimulator costs between $25 and $50. The sessions are sold in series that cost hundreds.
We've seen no evidence of any safety or efficacy data that says that they work to trim or shape your body in any way whatsoever.
Well, the FDA says simply, magical weight loss machines cause more of a loss of money than a loss of weight. I'm Brad Edwards, in your corner. If you're looking for a way to pare down your grocery bill, you might find it here, in the generic food shelves, the products in the plain white wrappers. And nowadays you'll find a wide variety of generics. No advertising costs and a somewhat lower grade of product means savings compared to the fancy labeled name brand products.
Normally they're just as good. Now there's a few things that are just a slight substandard to the other, but the price differential enters in.
A chain of groceries carrying generic meat say they are now 30% of all their red meat sales. It's not discount meat, just less fat. It's not graded, but it is inspected. We found a 33-cent per pound savings on a generic sirloin steak. We compared some other prices with name brand products. Generic coffee, $2.09. The same size name brand, $2.35. Generic diapers were $1 less than the same size in the name brand. Generic stew, $1.49. The name brand, $1.75. Tomato juice, 87 cents a can. The name brand was 93 cents and up. And the ingredients of generic foods are much the same as the name brands. What about the nutritional value?
It's just as healthy. The generic brands are just as healthy as the name brands.
I asked a team of tasters to compare unmarked samples of both generic and name brand coffee, non-dairy creamer, beef stew, and root beer. Without knowing which was which, they all preferred the name brands, but did not find too much difference with the generic. So for the slight difference in quality, you might find the savings you're looking for in generic foods. I'm Brad Edwards, in your corner. The Cunard line had to cancel 6 voyages this past summer when the Queen Elizabeth II was laid up for mechanical work. In a case like that, the very least the passenger can expect is a full refund. Now, the cruise line may also offer compensation for passenger inconvenience, such as cash, travel credits, special hotel rates. It depends on the company and on the degree of inconvenience, but it may also depend on what you ask for. That's where a good experienced travel agent can help by pressuring the ship line or tour packager for a generous compensation. Sometimes tours are canceled because there aren't enough advance bookings to pay for the cruise. Here again, check your reservations or with the tour company to see what you're entitled to if your tour is canceled. Now, if you're the one who cancels out at the last minute, you'll have to pay a penalty unless you're struck with a sudden severe illness and have a doctor's certification to prove it. Even then, some cruise lines and tour operators still stick to their own cancellation deadlines. The cruise lines usually want at least 30 days notification for a full refund. Tour packagers may want as much as 90 days or more to get all your money back, and if you simply don't show up for the sailing, you may not get any refund at all. I'm Brad Edwards, in your corner. There are a lot of mail order companies that will do anything to get your money. For example, an ad out of the Sunday Parade magazine plays on people's desires to look younger. It says their product will smooth out wrinkles and baggy eyes temporarily. It costs $5.95 from Formulex Labs in San Marcos, California. We ordered the wrinkle smoother, which they misspelled on the bottle. Maxine Boatwright tried it, but it only made her skin a little bit lighter. Well, the OU College of Pharmacy says the ingredients might make a paste to fill in wrinkles, but the only thing that'll smooth them out is plastic surgery. By the way, I tried to call Formulex in California, but there was no listing for them. In the get-rich-quick category, this ad from the Inquirer says, megabucks. You could receive hundreds of letters daily containing money. Well, that information costs $1. These ads are tempting, especially during periods of high unemployment, so we ordered it. The information was a barely readable mimeographed sheet with formulas for old home remedies on it. Now, how do you make money with this? Well, it tells you to take out the same ad they did, and people will send you $1 too. Even more clever is this ad for setting up a bad check reporting business in your hometown and make thousands. It says all the materials and training are included, and it costs $3. But when it arrives, you find that all the information in setting up the business is not included. That'll cost an additional $2,000. Now, they know most people won't be able to send in that $2,000, but still, the American Check Company gets to keep your $3. Watching out for mail order ripoffs, I'm Brad Edwards, in your corner. Cordless phones were selling like hotcakes even before the prices started to fall. And repairman Ron Hines says customers are complaining now about interference, but there's nothing that can be done.
There's about a half-a-mile interference zone that another cordless phone will interfere, so that means that 5 people within a half-a-mile area can have one without having interference.
There may be 50 to 100,000 phones in Oklahoma County. With only 5 frequencies, that means they overlap. In fact, I found you could take a receiver in your car and drive around till you pick up the dial tone from someone else's cordless phone that's on the same frequency. Now, I found a dial tone on this street, if you can hear that. And I can make a call now using that frequency. I'll call the office.
Good morning, Channel 4 KTVY.
And people also pick up other people's calls that have the same frequency. Hines says the government will not allow any more phones in these old 5 frequencies to be sold after October. He says there are 5 new frequencies available for new cordless phones, which we haven't seen yet.
Apparently, though, the manufacturers are not willing to put the new phones out on the market until they've sold all the existing phones.
In the meantime, the Consumer Product Safety Commission's looking into alleged cases of hearing damage from the phones. So if the new low prices are tempting you to buy one, ask a neighbor how their cordless phone works first. They're bound to have one. I'm Brad Edwards in your corner. Who would give diamond rings away for free? Well, Poole's Fifth Avenue in New York is. First, you get a notice in the mail that you're a selected customer for a publicity campaign and have a diamond ring waiting for you for free. Well, we sent for it, and here it is. At first, it looks like the top is all diamond, but when you look closely, you see that the outside is shiny metal with a tiny speck of a diamond in the center. Perhaps that's why it's for free. But it's worth more to the company to get your name to sell you their other jewelry, and they also sell insurance for burial benefits. Probably one of the few burial benefit jewelry companies around these days. Did you get this card in the mail? Worldwide Travel of Scottsdale, Arizona sent this to one of our viewers, saying they had a vacation at a resort waiting for her, along with a coupon book for film and a free necklace. All you have to do, send in $20. Well, I called the company and asked about the vacation package. They said you pay for all the transportation to get there and the meals, they pay for the room. And what's the $20 for? The man said to pay him to answer the phone when people like me call and ask questions. Another viewer called about this ad for a Yamaha 126 camera system, all for $5 with a 5-year warranty on parts. Well, we sent for it. There are few parts, just one big piece of plastic. However, we found it does take pictures, but the quality is primitive. You also get to enter the Ashira Photo Import Snapshot Contest to win $500, but it costs $1 a picture to enter. And for another $5, you get a confidential report on how to make money selling your photographs. If you don't make $275 in the first year, you get your $5 back. That is, if you can find them in a year. I'm Brad Edwards in your corner. When the government allowed U.S. automakers to go from a 5-mile-an-hour bumper to a 2.5-mile-an-hour bumper, the automakers promised lower car prices, fuel savings, and a program to inform buyers which cars have which. Senator John Danforth of Missouri says none of those promises was kept.
If the federal government does not require crash-worthy bumpers, then consumers won't get them on most new cars. In fact, they won't even know which cars have them.
The Auto Insurance Association showed slow-motion pictures of rear-end crashes of 2 Ford cars. First, a 1984 Escort GT, presumably with a 2.5-mile-per-hour bumper. Next, the damage cost, and the same test to a Ford Tiempo GL with the stronger 5-mile-per-hour bumper. The senior vice president of the insurance group said you can't tell by looking which cars have tough bumpers. Most companies won't tell.
They should demand that dealers tell them whether the cars will or will not meet a 5-mile-an-hour requirement. And they should be aware of the list of cars that has been published by the Center for Auto Safety and the government, which discloses which companies have said what kind of bumpers they're going to put on.
Senator Danforth called on Congress to support his bill to put the stronger bumpers back on all cars. Could mean the savings of hundreds of dollars in repair bills to the consumer. I'm Brad Edwards in your corner. All airlines are liable for the loss, theft, or destruction of check-through baggage, but only up to a point, and that point is usually up to $750 maximum. Carry-on luggage may also be covered for some lesser amount, but whether they are carried in checked baggage or by passengers themselves, most airlines will not be responsible for the loss of valuables like cash, cameras, jewelry, radios, documents, and even medication. The airlines say passengers must carry those items with them at their own own risk. The passengers who try to file claims against an airline for loss of such property are usually told to file claims against their own homeowner's insurance. But not every traveler is a homeowner, and not every renter has comprehensive renter's insurance to cover those items. So when they lose a camera or whatever, it's just plain gone. So when you're planning a trip, check your own insurance, find out what's covered and what isn't. See if that coverage extends to overseas travel. You may discover the most valuable things you're taking with you are not covered at all, and in that case, you should seriously consider special trip insurance. Could be a very worthwhile investment. I'm Brad Edwards for Your Money. You might have received a brochure in the mail from the United States and Overseas Coin Exchange offering you a chance to buy Christopher Columbus commemorative silver half dollars, minted by the government in 1832 and 33. Now, the brochure says they are the key coins in any collection of half dollars. They also imply they are rare coins by saying they had a very low mintage and that many were melted down during the silver boom of the 1970s. The company sells them by mail for $35 each, but you can buy as many as 20, which makes you wonder how rare they really are. I asked local coin dealer Jerry Brown about that.
It's probably the most common commemorative half dollar the United States Mint issued. It's a very common coin. It's, traded on a basis of probably $12 to $15 for the condition that they define here.
Now, what about this magazine ad from the Washington Mint, offering a limited release of Morgan silver dollars and Peace silver dollars? The coins are in fine condition. Dealers say that means they're rated below the medium condition. The Washington Mint sells them for $48 each in this limited release. Once again, I asked dealer Jerry Brown just how limited these coins are.
They're very common, really. If you go to any of your major shops in town or any shop in town, they have silver dollars. I can get you 10,000 of them if you want them. I mean, they're not scarce at all.
You can buy the same coin, only in better condition, for $15 instead of $48. So shop locally before collecting coins by mail. I'm Brad Edwards for Your Money. Fishermen might be lured in by this ad. It says Magic Indian Oil catches fish like crazy. The ad says the salesman discovered it when his old Indian fishing guide kept spraying it on his bait and catching fish like crazy. Well, we ordered it for $6.75 and got this little spray can. It smells like licorice, but does it work? We ask an expert, Don Wallace of the Wallace Wildlife Show.
Most of it is a base of anise oil, and it has a scent, kind of a sweet licorice type scent that fish do have and do like, and there's a certain amount of attraction for the fish to this product.
Don showed us in this well-known fisherman's catalog that you can buy the same substance at least twice the size for less money than we paid for the little spray can. In past reports, we've shown that buying coin collections by mail can be deceptive with inflated prices. This time we checked into a stamp collection, such as this one from the Kenmore Company of New Hampshire. 1,000 stamps worth $30, you pay $2.95. Here's what you get. 1,000 stamps, which local stamp dealer Don Herndon says is worth about $3. But you also get something else, a collection of international stamps that you didn't order, but the Kenmore Company wants you to buy for $20. Don says these are not the kind of stamps real collectors are after.
Well, there have a lot of stamps that are issued by countries and canceled to order, which means that the company has just issued a stamp solely to sell the pictures. They're not used for postage at all.
If you want these stamps, you can buy them at half the price locally, but Don says you didn't order them, so you don't have to buy them, and you don't even have to send them back. If the company wants them, they can come and get them. I'm Brad Edwards for Your Money. If you're involved in an accident, you may have insurance to pay for medical difficulties, but what about the legal difficulties involved? It was just such an incident that inspired Harley Stonecipher to start prepaid legal services in Ada, Oklahoma several years ago.
While I was in the hospital, I had medical insurance, so I wasn't too concerned that my medical bills were going to be paid. I had automobile insurance on my car, and I knew that I'd have the ability to replace my automobile. And in fact, even if I didn't live, I had life insurance that would basically take care of my family. But the one thing I didn't have was anything to pay those legal fees that arose out of it.
Prepaid Legal Services has limits on its coverage, as does any insurance program, but it covers a wide array of legal problems that are commonly encountered.
It gives you the ability to go talk with an attorney at least up to 30 minutes on anything that might happen to you that's of a legal nature. And of course, if you get sued, it pays up to $5,000 in legal defense benefits. If the IRS calls on you and wants to take a look at your tax returns, pays up to $5,000 in that area.
Well, how do attorneys feel about the program? I asked Jim Turner, president of the Oklahoma Bar Association.
Well, I think it's another avenue for people on fixed incomes to meet legal expenses. And the lawyers who have dealt with the company have been paid, and the representations by the company have been met.
Prepaid Legal Services is building in popularity around the country. Some companies even give the coverage to employees as benefits. For an individual, the coverage costs $10 a month, and coverage increases each year. At the very least, Prepaid Legal Services opens attorneys' doors to many who thought they couldn't afford it before. I'm Brad Edwards for Your Money. The National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence has been testing and certifying mechanics since 1972. By taking a written test, a mechanic may be certified in any or all of 8 types of repair work, including engine performance, engine repair, transmission, front end, brakes, heating and air conditioning, and electrical systems. But certification is absolutely no guarantee that every job that mechanic does will be perfect. It's not a guarantee that he may be the best one in the shop to do the job, but it's at least some assurance that the mechanic knows what he's looking at under the hood of your car.
Basically, it tells them that the man has cared enough to try to further his education in the field that he's chosen. He's worked at it. He's going to be a professional mechanic, and he wants to show the world that he is a professional mechanic.
The ASE Institute certifies only the mechanics themselves, not the dealerships or garages they work for, but it is a good selling point. Certification is not a guarantee of satisfaction, but it does tell you that the mechanic has at least a couple of years' experience in automotive repair and was able to pass a written test on his skills. Not a bad recommendation. I'm Brad Edwards for Your Money. When it's 110 degrees outside and you're planning a party is normally the time your air conditioner breaks down. And in the hottest months of summer, you'll be lucky to get a repairman out in 2 weeks. There's a couple of things you can do to prevent all this, and number one is get a pre-season checkup, whether you've got central air or a window unit.
What the homeowner needs to do is needs to set up a service plan with a reputable heating and air conditioning company to come out twice a year to service the units.
Whether you have a central air unit or a window unit, pre-season servicing for $25 to $35 may save you a much more expensive repair in the hottest months of summer when your air conditioner works the hardest.
There's your nice dirty filter.
Servicemen say now is the time to have your air conditioner cleaned and oiled. Preventive measures. You can get that done for $26.95 now, but it'll cost you more later.
Definitely a good deal to get it done now. It's our slow time of the year, so we run the specials. And during the summer, we don't need the work. We've got more than we know what to do with.
We've got 2 window units here in the house, and ever since we purchased them, it's been about 5 or 6 years ago, we've had them checked every year before the season gets hot, and we've never had a service call in the middle of summer. So.
Dirt and blockages are the greatest enemy of any air conditioner unit. On your window units, take the front off, pull the filter out, clean it out. On central air units, make sure there's no weeds growing up around the vents. Make sure no bushes are growing over the top and blocking the free flow of air. It means your unit's going to work more efficiently, last longer, and fewer breakdowns. I'm Brad Edwards for Your Money. The drive-in restaurant has been a hit since the 50s, so why not a drive-in convenience store? Well, it's here. Maybe the first one in the country is opened in Edmond. You just drive into one of the lanes, check the merchandise list, and push the button.
Welcome to Quick Way. May I have your order, please?
Yes, I need a package of wieners, some tomato juice, and a 6-pack of beer.
Okay, sir, that was a 6-pack of Coors beer, Oscar Mayer wieners, and tomato soup.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you, sir. That'd be a total of $6.77.
Next, you put your money in a container on the basket and push a button to send it inside, where the staff is quickly assembling your order. Each island has a gas pump, so while they're putting your order together inside, you can go ahead and pump your gas outside. The drive-in convenience store was the brainchild of Marvin Jairus, who sees many benefits in shopping this way.
I originally got the idea by trading in convenience stores, and in my estimation, they really weren't real convenient. You know, after watching it, I thought surely there's a better way to do this, and what we're trying to do is really put a little convenience back into the word convenience.
Security is another important factor. Customers stay in their cars while shopping, and employees don't have anyone coming inside. Customers seem to like the arrangement.
Yeah, I really like it, especially if you're in a hurry, you know.
My kids are right here. I know where they are, and like I said, you don't have to go up to pay for your gas. You can pay for it right here.
It was different. I was driving by and I thought, that looked strange, so I pulled in.
Customers say prices are competitive with other convenience stores. The idea seems to be catching on, even for those on 2 wheels. I'm Brad Edwards for Your Money.